Muy buenos días, bienvenidos nuevamente a un programa más de Conversando con Luisa. Les quiero decir de que este fin de semana tuvimos un fin de semana muy bonito porque fuimos a la fiesta de gala de la previa radio show. Y Walter Persíncula quiere de alguna forma disculparse por no haber asistido a esta maravillosa fiesta. Él tenía un compromiso anterior, así que por eso no pudo venir. Pero yo también los quiero felicitar desde Radio Punto Latino a este maravilloso grupo de personas que son la previa radio show, por una fiesta tan maravillosa que tuvo la oportunidad de unir a tantas nacionalidades, ¿cierto? Ellos estaban celebrando un año de programación y nos acompañaron en el año 2020, que fue un año muy duro para todos, pero sin embargo ellos estuvieron semana a semana acompañándonos a los días miércoles en este maravilloso programa que se llama la previa radio show. Así que yo felicito a todo el grupo humano que hay detrás de esta radio por tan maravilloso trabajo. Y bueno, y toda la gente que estuvo allá lo pasó estupendo, regio, fotos lindas que aparecieron en las redes, así que muchas gracias. Bueno, y yo en este programa les quiero presentar a una persona especial, a un artista de la comunidad que no es latino, pero se mueve mucho dentro de la comunidad latina. La entrevista va a ser en inglés porque él no habla español, pero espero que les guste. Él es un muchacho joven, muy talentoso, que toca guitarra clásica y tengo el honor de presentar a Carlitos acá. Good morning, Carlitos. How are you?
Good morning,
Welcome
Luisa.
to my show.
Thank you so much, Luisa. Thank you for having me. Thank you for Punto Latino Radio. Thank you to you and to Mr. Walter for having me, and I'm pleasured and honored to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Carlito nos va a contar un poquitito acerca de su historia aquí en Australia. So, Carlito, would you be able to tell us your journey? Who is Carlito Akam? Because a lot of people don't know you. But, you know, I know you because I have had the pleasure to meet you and to know your music, and that I know that you're very involved within the Latino community. So would you be able to tell us who is Carlito Akam?
My name is Sufyan Akam, but they call me Carlito, like a little Carlos, because I play the guitar. I mix with a lot of Latino people, and I got this like a stage name. My nationalism Chaldean from Iraq, so I grew up in I grew up in Iraq till I was 13 years old, and then I went to Jordan for 5 years, and I was living there for 5 years in Jordan. And then the music to me, it was a dream childhood that I carried on with me when I was young. How I fell in love with the music, it's from the family. I have family members who plays the piano and plays the keyboard in the church. So when I used to listen to a choir songs, I used to love that sound. And yeah, until when I came to Australia, that was for me something everything a new language, and like especially with the music, that, as I said, especially with the music, when I grow up, it's a childhood dream was inside me. Then I started playing guitar, learning. Anyway, so how did I start to a Latin music? How do I listen to a Spanish? Like when I was in Jordan, one time I was walking in the street, and from a shop that they're selling tape cassettes back then.
Yeah.
And I was hearing beautiful voice singing. It was Julio Iglesias. And it just like kind of attracted my ears, you know. And I said, who is this guy singing? I said, his name Julio, blah, blah. I said, okay, can I buy his tape? I said, does he have anything else? So he gave me a lot of. So I bought them all.
All the tapes.
Yeah, all the
Wow.
tapes I bought, and I went home, and I want to listen, but I was embarrassed from the family. They're gonna pick on me. How could, because the music was something inside me. For me, I loved it. Yes, I didn't understand, but I love the music, the arrangements, the instrumentation, the harmony, everything. It's always was. I used to listen to this, and to me, it's something. Wow, that's new to my brain, new to my ears. So when I was listening, my mom, she walked in. She goes, "How do you know Julio Iglesias and that?" And I said, "I don't know. I was walking in the street and I heard him and I bought his tapes." She goes, "When you were a little kid, like we used to put some music for you, like my uncle or her, you know. That's how I think it's kind of a memory that was in my brain, or somehow that's why I love this music, you know. Yeah, and when I came to Australia, guitar was to me something that I always wanted. So I started studying with the local teachers, and then when the social media started, YouTube, Facebook, and what I realized, I started discovering myself. How can I improve myself, improve my studies, improve? When I first started, I studied with a guy who's named Neil and Albert, but Neil was someone who really guided me. He's Assyrian from Iraq. He's a great jazz guitarist. So he started teaching me and about the scales, improvisation, and all that kind of things. And then later on, I started ordering by myself books from Spain about flamenco, how to study the flamencos, and what is the flamenco, how to study all the forms, and what each form. Because back then, 2006, like I didn't know any flamenco people, and I used to know, but like not a professionally, like from people from Spain, you know.
And how do you get involved with the Spanish music and with the Spanish flamenco music? Because I mean, you very talented and you're very involved within the Latino community. How do you start all this process, and who introduced you to this music in Australia?
Okay, when I first came to Australia, as I said, I studied with a guy. His name Albert first. So he introduced me, for example, to Paco de Lucia. He goes,
Oh,
"Have you heard of Paco?" Because
of course, also Paco de
I used to
Lucia.
only know Gypsy Kings. And I used to love the rhythm and that. And then when I heard Paco, I said, "Wow,
Yeah.
what's this?" You know, that's something that entered my soul. And for me, I was digging, researching, and back then the social media was all new to me. So I have to do research, translate, read about this guy from Spanish to Arabic. I have to read, you know, because my English wasn't strong back then. So
So you're hungry for music and to find
absolutely,
out for this
I want to know what's
flamenco.
this, yeah. So I was really interested how to know and study all these things. So I started ordering books, how to with the simple techniques, because flamenco. Look, before you play flamenco, you have to live the culture, because
Mhm.
flamenco is not only a style of music; it's a culture.
Of course.
So you have to be able to live with him, to feel it, to breathe it, to bond there. And no matter how hard we try, how what we do, we won't be playing like people from Spain.
Of course.
That's impossible, you know.
You're close to it.
But it's I'm honored to be close to it. But for me, it is like what I achieve now. I'm really happy, you know. And for me, it's a big challenge. So when I used to play back then, I used to work in a farm. When I used to study music, I used to order books, try to understand the subdivisions of the musical notes. I used to like spend a lot of time. I used to work in a farm starting 6 to 2 p.m. and then from 3 p.m. till 10, 11, I used to practice. I used to practice all wrong way, by the way. So imagine 3 years, I'm learning wrong, you know?
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to to fix all this.
Mhm.
And then I don't want to go like in details and everything. I studied with local flamenco guitarists first, with Felipe Conze. He's from Chilean.
Mhm.
He's Chilean guitarist, very talented and a friend of mine. And until I met in 2013, I met how I got involved with the Latino community, and I met Mr. Lucho Valverde.
Mhm.
Lucho Valverde is I met him and we had a choir project. I met him there, and it's like we felt so connected, and we started talking. And back then I was working on my album, and with Lucho pushed me so much, gave me so much ideas. He was teaching me a lot of things about musicality, about how the Latin rhythm, about so many things, chords, voicing, how to do it the right way, and that was a big help for me. And that's how I get into Latin community. We started working together, and it was a huge thing to me.
Yeah, well,
And
and who
yeah,
else? He's just a great artist. And then you just told me also that he's like a father to you.
absolutely, he's like a father, big brother, a friend, and he's my studio partner as well. Like we work, do a lot of work together. He arranged all the my Latin Soul project,
Yep.
and we produce it together. And he have a lot of history in music, especially starting from Peru, United States, around Europe. He traveled around the world, and I'm so blessed and honored to be working with this human being.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was really after I finished from my conservatory in 2011. I met Lucho, and that was a different level of experience.
Yeah.
So that I started getting into Latino music, trying to understand how the clave works, because with the Latino, the most important is you have to follow the clave, the bass. You know, it's everything to do around the clave. You cannot. There is a rules.
Mhm.
Just like flamenco, there is a rules. Every palo have a rule. Like if you play a buleria or solia or cigarilla or alegria, you know, every palo have a rule. Especially with Latin, if you wanna Latino, if you wanna play anything with mantuno or you wanna play any style of music.
Yeah.
So, which is our respect. So I learned a lot from Lucho. All these years, I released my album. We did a lot of touring, and we did a lot of concerts. So it was very good experience to me.
Mhm.
I've learned something was really nice, and I'd be honored until I met Maestro Paco Lara. You know,
Paco Lara, yes.
Paco Lara he's the transformation for me. Like Carlito made me in a different level.
Yeah.
Honestly, Paco Lara is whatever I talk about this guy. He's an icon to me. He's like my lost soul in the music.
Mhm.
So this guy is a genius flamenco guitarist from Jerez. Came from a city that he born inside the flamenco.
Yeah.
And so Paco Lara, he's my teacher, my brother, everything, my family. Like his family is my family. His beautiful wife Dea and his beautiful daughter Carmen. So I'm like a family with him. Not only the way we connected together when I took a lesson from him. First lesson I took, I feel there is something. And
Something special.
something special, and I can see Paco was really satisfied because I'm not a beginner guitarist, but he can see how much I'm hungry to learn the right flamenco from the right people. Because Paco Lara, he's the only guitarist in Australia that play pure flamenco.
Yeah.
He's the only one who play flamenco. He's the real flamenco guitarist to me. With all my respect to other musicians, we have so many talented, great musicians flamenco, but Paco, he's the root. He's the root. His name like scary. I'll be honest, Paco. When you hear Paco, you're gonna think, okay, Paco de Lucia. But
Yeah.
like
He's the maestro.
he's the maestro. He's the one. He's like to me. So I'm so honored when he asked me to be like his guitarist, because he told me, I'm surprised I never heard of you. You are a great musician and no one recommended you to me. I said, man, like in the music industry, there is always jealousy.
Yes, of course.
And there's not in any industry, there's always jealousy. People, they try to, I can explain, to be honest. Example, they're gonna look, they trying to be your friend, make it look like they're taking care of you, but at the same time, they don't want you to grow up.
Yeah.
They don't want you to grow
They
up.
just want you there.
They want you to dead. They just only want to suffocate you, to be under their wings.
That's right.
There is some people like this I've discovered lately, like especially good friends who you think they are good friends, but they are fake friends.
Yeah.
Especially try to destroy you. Anyway, so this is in every community and every nationality, unfortunately, and especially with the music. Because I always say, no one stand in front of beauty. If you do something beautiful,
That's right.
no one's gonna stand in front of it. And to me, it's not about me. Especially when I used to do my projects, it's never about me. It's always about teamwork.
Yeah.
When I do my project at home, why do I involve Lucho to do the arrangements? Because first of all, I'm not his level of to arrange a Latino a piece. How to arrange? Lucho have much experience, so that's his job. It's not about me. I do the arrangements. I want to do the filming. I want to do the editing. I want to do the mixing and mastering. I want to do this. No. It's all about teamwork. So even with Paco, when he told me, I told him, to be honest, maybe some people, they didn't want to show myself to you, until the circumstances came that we met. And with Paco, I started doing a real flamenco concerts.
Mm-hmm.
Everything to me was a real different experience.
Mm-hmm.
To play with the next to a guitarist, an icon guitarist, with Paco Lara, that it's to me, it is a big goal. It is a big goal, that I've achieved, and I'm so happy where I am now. Especially like to be a right-hand guitarist with a big maestro.
Mm-hmm.
And Lara family, they really big in Spain, in Jerez, and he's the brother of Maestro Santiago Lara. That he have incredible history, and these guys, they have a. If you read about these guys, these talented musicians, they geniuses, the way they grow up, it's really the effects from to them. Like I've been really influenced about Paco a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to explain a little bit to our audience who are in.
Sorry if I took.
That's
long.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, Carlito acá, él es de Basra, South Iraq, y él emigró hace 19 años aquí a Australia. Es un joven talento que yo descubrí hace algún tiempo, que tiene música con grandes artistas de nuestra comunidad, tales como Lucho Valverde, Paco Lara, un guitarrista español, y él ha hecho, digamos, estas dos personas Lucho Valverde ha pasado a ser como el papá de él, ¿cierto? El papá, el amigo. Paco Lara es el maestro de la guitarra flamenca. Y este muchacho joven, ¿cierto? Que llega acá hace 19 años con sueños en sus maletas, ha podido desarrollarlos de alguna manera. Él ha estudiado estudió en el 2011, estudió en el Conservatorio de Música Internacional, ha compuesto muchos temas. Lo he visto, tiene música en YouTube, tiene música en Spotify, lo pueden encontrar en algunos conciertos, ¿cierto? Al final del mes va a estar en un concierto en el Opera House tocando con este maestro llamado Paco Lara. La vida para él obviamente no ha sido fácil, como no lo es para ninguno de nosotros que llegamos a un país extraño donde no hablamos el idioma. Y Carlito acá se ha podido, ¿cierto?, educar en lo que respecta a la música, educar en lo que respecta a su trabajo como músico, y obviamente lo han apadrinado gente tan talentosa como Lucho Valverde y Paco Lara. Así que él eso nos está contando. Vamos a tener la oportunidad de también escuchar un par de sus temas que nos va a mostrar, y bueno, vamos a seguir conversando con él. I'm just trying to explain in
Okay.
few words who you are.
Thank you so much. I realized that it's Spanish. I didn't mention that. I forgot, but it's good you remember.
Yeah. So also lo bonito de él, me contó la historia, cómo él el sueño, la música era su sueño, y él comienza este sueño cuando él es muy pequeño, ¿cierto? Un día caminando por las calles de donde él vivía, se encontró que tocaba música de Julio Iglesias, y en esa época vendían solamente cassettes de música, y entonces él compró todos los cassettes que encontró en ese lugar y los escondió en su casa porque no sabía cómo iban a reaccionar, en este caso sus padres, ¿cierto? Al escuchar que él estaba escuchando música en español. Pero un día su madre lo descubre y escucha esta música y le pregunta a Carlos, ¿y tú estás escuchando a Julio? Y él le dice, sí. Y ella se extraña y ella le dice, tú sabes que cuando tú eras un bebé, yo te ponía esa música a ti y tú te quedabas dormido con esa música. Entonces, pareciera que la madre de alguna manera implantó la semillita de la música en español, que de ahí viene todo, la historia, ¿cierto? Y él la ha descubierto y se ha ido perfeccionando a medida que ha ido pasando el tiempo. Así que para mí es un placer tenerlo acá y poder disfrutar, ¿cierto?, de su talento. Carlito, I just would like to invite you to see if you can play your latest song, which is Destiny, and
Yes.
it's dedicated to someone very special to you. So would you be able to explain that to us?
Destiny, it's the way I composed this song. It's first of all, I was inspired by like Paco de Lucia, Vicente Amigo, and other artists. That's the inspiration from them. But for me, I dedicate this song because the musical stake in a musical most changes. It's like part of lives, has our life changes and comes to a destinies that we have to believe.
Mm-hmm.
I've dedicated this piece to my maestro and my brother Paco Lara, because Paco Lara in Spain, like he left all his fame, he left all his touring, he left everything. Is just to come, and that was his destiny, to leave Spain and come to Australia, start a new beginning. Mm-hmm. And that's a new destiny for him. Start from scratch, and how he fought it and became an icon here again. Like, all I can say to you, Master Paco Lara, he's been here 3 years, and his concert next month in the Opera House.
Yes.
An Opera House, it's a world icon.
An icon.
You know what I mean? So how honored I can be more than this, to be next to this artist, So I really dedicate this to him, and that's his destiny, and I guess some destinies are bad and some destinies are good.
Yeah.
And this was beautiful destiny, in my opinion.
Nos vamos a ir a unos comerciales y vamos a volver con Carlito Acam y su guitarra flamenca.
Panadería y confitería Bariloche. Servicio de cafetería, sándwich calientes y chivitos. Tortas para toda ocasión. Y también para el buen paladar, las masitas de Bariloche. Estamos ubicados en el 83 de Mori Street en Liverpool. Su teléfono es el 9602-3755. Hagámonos un regalo al paladar junto a Panadería y confitería Bariloche. Abierto de martes a domingo en el 83 de Mori Street en Liverpool.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Les habla Lenny Bola, el fisioterapista de la comunidad de Smithfield Active Physiotherapy, para comunicarles a nuestra comunidad que atendemos pacientes por Medicare, problemas de compensación, seguros privados, accidentes de vehículos y pacientes en DIS. Tenemos 3 fisioterapistas de habla hispana para todas sus dolencias musculares, de columna, lesiones deportivas problemas crónicos y agudos. Por favor, llámenos al 9604-5727 o pueden visitarnos en nuestra clínica que está ubicada en 712 de Hosley Drive, Smithfield. Los esperamos.
Bueno, ahora los vamos a dejar con un par de temas de Carlitos Acam, uno en especial que está hecho con Lucho Valverde y Paco Lara, La Negra Tomasa, y vamos a mostrar otro video de él, y también después de esos dos videos vamos a ir nos va a tocar una guitarra live, él está acá con su guitarra, así que nos va a acompañar un poquitito con su música en vivo, así que
sabroso. Carlitos, como dice la guitarra. ¡Ole! Estoy tan enamorado de la negra Tomasa que cuando se va de casa muy triste me pongo. Estoy tan enamorado de la negra Tomasa que cuando se va de casa muy triste me pongo. Ay, 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 esa negra santa me echó bilongo, esa nena rica cámara me echó bilongo, nada más que me gusta la comida que me cocina, nada más que me gusta la café que ella me cuela, nada más que me gusta la comida que me cocina, nada más que me gusta la café que ella me cuela. Ay, 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 mira que esa negra santa me echó bilongo, esa nena rica cámara me echó bilongo. Y bueno, directamente de Jerez, el maestro Paco Lara. ¡Alza! Estoy tan enamorado de la negra Tomasa que cuando se va de casa muy triste me pongo. Estoy tan enamorado de la negra Tomasa que cuando se va de casa muy triste me pongo. Ay, 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 esa negra santa me echó bilongo, esa nena rica cámara me echó bilongo, sabroso. Y me voy pa'l monte a sancochar boñato. Kikiribo, mandinga, kikiribo, mandinga. Carlito toca la guitarra, los patas bailando mi son. Kikiribo, mandinga, kikiribo, mandinga. La negra Tomasa cocinando ya se pasa y dice kikiribo, mandinga, kikiribo, mandinga. Lucho, Paco y Carlito, tremenda combinación. Óyelo. Kikiribo, mandinga, kikiribo, mandinga. ¿Y quién viene ahí? Aznar, directamente del desierto. Agua. más a mi lado, corazón, por comer un bacalao con lechón.
Kikiribu, mandinga, kikiribu, mandinga.
Kiribú, Tomasa, esa morena cocinando se pasa.
Kikiribu, mandinga, kikiribu, mandinga.
Nada más que me gusta la comida que me cocina, nada más que me gusta la café que ella me cuela, nada más que me gusta la comida que me cocina, nada más que me gusta la café que ella me cuela. Ay, ay, ay. Tomasa cocinando, ella se pasa.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Que bien toca ahí cuando ya está todo grabado. Cuando ya está mezclado.
Yell again. Okay, camera rolling. Huh? Okay, camera rolling. Okay. Again. Okay, we do again. Yell, position everyone. Okay, ready. Okay, 3, 2, 1, recording. Go.
Sabroso. Carlito, como dice la guitarra. Ole.
Bueno, ahí estábamos escuchando, ¿cierto? La negra Tomasa que la interpretan Francisco Toledo, Lucho Valverde, Paco Lara y Carlito Acam. Ahora vamos a escuchar a Carlito Acam, nos va a tocar un tema flamenco, que es el último tema, digamos, de su repertorio, que se llama Destiny. Así que, Carlito, when you're ready.
Thank you.
Bueno, ahí tenían a Carlito Acam con su último disco que se llama Destiny, o el destino que tenemos todos, ¿no? Él se lo dedicó a Paco Lara, que es el maestro de la guitarra flamenca. Y bueno, y la verdad que ese disco nos llega, o ese tema nos llega un poquitito a todos, ¿cierto? Porque de alguna manera el destino nuestro ha sido también emigrar a otro país, emigrar a otras tierras, dejarlo todo de atrás, dejar, ¿cierto?, a la familia, dejar los sueños que algún día tuvimos en nuestro país y bueno, y llegar a otra tierra, ¿cierto?, aprender un nuevo idioma. Así que creo que de alguna manera ese disco Destiny también nos toca a todos nosotros. Carlitos, thank you. That's a very special song.
Thank
and
you
I
so
was
much.
just explaining to the audience that you dedicated that to Paco Lara, el maestro, but also it applies to all of us that we came to, we left our country for one thing or the other, and you know, we all came here with dreams, and we left our motherland for a reason or other, and it's just beautiful to know that you can put or portray that into music.
Yeah.
Now, I just wanted to ask you something in particular with 2020. You've told me a little bit about what happened, and I just wanted to ask you, how was 2020 for you? Because 2020 was a year where we found ourselves confined at home. We got, you know, all of a sudden we had this pandemic flowing around, and we couldn't go anywhere. We kind of like, you know, locked in the house for a long time. How was 2020 for you, Carlito?
2020 was a big transformation for me because I used to be stonemason. Stonemason, who I work in. That's my daily job, which is, you know, in this country you cannot live from music. You know, it's really hard unless like you have a big sponsors support. You know, so I used to be stonemason for the last 10 years until I started feeling my health not good, and after that I used to do doctor checkups, and then I was diagnosed with the lung disease called silicosis.
But that was due to the job that you used to do?
Yes, this was through silicosis. It's really like very bad disease that they had no cure for it. All I can say, it's a serious disease. But anyhow, all I can say, I have to stay in very clean environment to keep my health safe and healthy. So for me, it's was a big challenge that I have to leave my job and to start a new journey, which is try to be a full-time musician. So I started doing a lot of production. I started doing home production. I started maintaining my studio, which is setting up my studio professional way. We started doing a lot of projects, and I started with my Latin solo project with the Lucha Valverde. The first song, the idea of my Latin soul is mating between music styles, mating between Latino, Arabic, and flamenco. How put all these styles together? For example, La Negra Tomasa, there is the arrangement of the idea. It's how you playing flamenco rhythms into a salsaric rhythms. You know what I mean? And then some Arabic influence comes to it. And I would like to thank everyone really who was in this project, starting from Rafa MC for Afranas, his beautiful plays, and of course all the rest of the groups. And yeah, so I started slowly. We started with a song called Astayer, and my friend, a good friend, Fernando, is Argentinian. He sang this song and he sang it so beautiful. So that's how we started the idea, doing salsa with flamenco with a bit of Arabic influence, and then started doing solos for myself. And I tried singing in Latin, in Spanish. So, and plus I decided to study audio production, which is, I fell in love with this concept, like how to do and to study and to understand how to record all the instruments and to understand every instrument frequency, and to understand how to mark the frequencies, like how to mark the instrument, sorry, and to understand about everything to do with audio production. Okay, so to me it is a big challenge. I'm still studying. That's my second trimester. So last year, 2019 was a big difference. I used to work 5-6 nights a week, plus gigging 4 nights a week. So I gig Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I play. I work from Monday to Friday, sometimes Monday to Saturday. So, and then all this in 2020 by March was gone.
Of course.
When I was diagnosed, I stopped in March. I have to stop working. And then 2 weeks later, the whole country collapsed because of COVID. So I had no income, nothing. So I have to come in a way, I have to think about how can I make living. So I decided to produce songs, especially for our community. So I decided I want to make a living, you know what I mean? So that's how I started. And I'm still doing it till now. And I guess I'm doing really well. And there is a lot of projects coming, and slowly, I guess we will get there. Yeah.
I just want to explain
Sure.
to the audience. Well, Carlito acá nos estaba contando lo que sucedió con él el año pasado, ¿cierto? Carlitos lo diagnosticaron con una enfermedad que se llama silicosis, que es como un cáncer a sus ¿cierto? Lung cancer, porque por el trabajo que él hacía, ¿cierto? El polvo de la construcción, trabajaba con mármol y eso, entonces le produjo esta enfermedad y se la descubren un tiempo antes que el país de alguna manera colapse, ¿cierto? Con todo lo que es esto del COVID-19. Y se encuentra de la noche a la mañana que tiene que dejar de trabajar y tiene que aceptar esta enfermedad que le diagnostican. Y bueno, y obviamente no fue fácil para él aceptarla y entonces estuvo algunos meses un poco deprimido y eso, pero como lo hemos visto en estos programas, mucha gente se ha reinventado en el año 2020 haciendo diferentes tipos de cosas. Bueno, y Carlito es un ejemplo de ello, que su descubrimiento de esta enfermedad o de esta disease, ¿cierto? Se transformó en algo muy positivo que es la música. Así que yo la verdad que estoy muy contenta de tenerlo en mi programa porque también transmite, ¿cierto?, un ejemplo para la comunidad, para que nunca nos dejemos vencer por alguna razón. O sea, de repente nos pasan cosas, nos diagnostican una enfermedad y eso, pero Carlitos Acam no se dio por vencido y aquí está. Y bueno, y el año pasado obviamente ha tenido la oportunidad de participar con todos estos artistas y ha sido... muy bonito, digamos, que él participe con gente tan importante como Paco Lara, Lucho Valverde, ¿cierto? Francisco Toledo. Así que, bueno, Carlito, it's a great pleasure to have you and to listen to your story. I'm just telling the community that you are an inspiration for many young artists out there that, you got diagnosed with this disease, but that wasn't a reason for you to stop to do anything.
No, it's just, look, I'm all I can say, that's a path everyone's going to it. But
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm in a bad condition now. Thank God I'm still okay. I'm still healthy. But we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And honestly, I thank you guys for having me here and thank you for the beautiful hospitality. And
Yeah, no, I mean, I just also want to add for you to let you know that, I mean, at the end of the month, you're having a performance
Yeah,
in the Opera House.
that's right. That's the performance for the Maestro Paco Lara, and I would like to invite everyone to come and experience a real flamenco event.
Music.
Yeah,
Yes.
with the best guitarist, Maestro Paco Lara, and incredible dancing with Dea Miranda, his beautiful wife, and I call him the Maestro. He's our percussionist and pianist Byron Mark. He's one of my really great friends, and he's so talented. He's amazing musicians that I learn from him, and he's very patient, especially with me. Yeah, and honestly, I would like to thank you everyone, my friends, especially starring Danny Asmaru, who was do the filming for me, and Hilal Dawood. He's one of my best friends. He's a very professional filmographer who's doing my latest videos, and from Hilal Images, and the rest of the musicians, whoever involved with me. And thank you guys again for having me.
It's been a pleasure to have you.
You know,
I mean, I'm
for it,
just,
yeah.
I mean, it's I've become your number one fan
Thank you
of your
so much,
music,
Luisa. Thank you
and
so much.
but I would like you to see if you'll be able to play one more song before we go, before we say goodbye,
Yeah.
and we will finish the show with your music this time. And de mi parte, me voy a despedir ahora, a decirles que tengan una linda semana, que los espero la próxima semana en Conversando con Luisa, con un gran artista, con una gran mujer. Estaremos conversando con Nilda Moya la próxima semana. No se olviden que el 8 de marzo es el Día Internacional de la Mujer. Estaremos celebrando todo el mes de marzo el Día Internacional de la Mujer, y estaremos con Nilda Moya. Ella nos estará contando un poquitito de lo que está haciendo ella ahora, y también estaremos conversando a lo que significa el Día Internacional de la Mujer el 8 de marzo, que se celebra alrededor del mundo. Así que, bueno, yo los voy a dejar ahora vamos a ir a un comercial, mientras Carlito se prepara para despedirse de nosotros con un tema más.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Les habla Lenny Bola, el fisioterapista de la comunidad de Smithfield Active Physiotherapy, para comunicarles a nuestra comunidad que atendemos pacientes por Medicare, problemas de compensación, seguros privados, accidentes de vehículos y pacientes en DIS. Tenemos 3 fisioterapistas de habla hispana para todas sus dolencias musculares, de columna, lesiones deportivas, problemas crónicos y agudos. Por favor, llámenos al 9604-5727 o pueden visitarnos en nuestra clínica, que está ubicada en 712 de Hosley Drive, Smithfield. Los esperamos.
Actually, you have to do it here.